So maybe we might first watch the bracket to see what is going on. So I planned to cast Group 8, the last match, which opposes Crusade to the Survivalists. So this match will define who is gonna be the winner in that group, and the loser of this match will be qualified anyway. So what is interesting is to see what group the winner is gonna join in the final stage. So if I'm right, the loser of the match will join Immortal and Valkyrie Warrior in the group 4, and the winner will join the group 13 against the General and IS Submachine. So in my opinion, it's better to get the first place. But I wouldn't be sad to see Sun Tzu versus Immortal in the 1v1, which might be pretty interesting in case the Survivalist wins its match against Crusade. Alright. So let's go for the first game. It's quite long. Okay, here we go. I maybe can give it a try using Capture Rage this time. Okay. Let's try this. Suspense. Well, in case I've got trouble, I will just leave Capture Rage. Yeah, it looks to work anyway. Okay, so forget Capture Rage. I didn't made any test before, so I won't invest any time in this right now. What I can do is maybe to decrease the music and to focus on the sound of the game. Yeah, it might be better that way. Alright, Arandi, can you tell me if you hear the song of the game? Well, I wish you a good travel in your train, Arandi. So in fact, Crusade tends to focus on the berries pretty fast, pretty early. I think it's a good point. It did find 2 ships only, I think. Oh yes, it does have 2 more near the mill. Some berries, some ships might be explored. Not yet. I don't know why, but in 1v1 I've got an issue with the recorder game. I can't switch from one player to another, and it happens only in 1v1. So sorry, I won't be able to change the point of view to Arandi to Sun Tzu in this game. So Arandi, you said that in your opinion Sun Tzu might win the 1v1 against Crusade. I guess you made some test. So let's see if your betting is right in this game. And regarding this strategy from Crusade, I think that an early pressure is great against that AI, which is focused on a fast castle. So if it does have troubles to get the resources needed, it will have a big trouble in the feudal age. Okay. This is recorded, so I can increase the speed. I'm quite surprised by the fact that it didn't lure the rhinoceros. Alright, here we go. Bye bye the scouts. Now Sun Tzu will start its harassment. Oh, you didn't test it against Crusade, okay? Yeah, both animals were not lured to the TC for some reasons. And I assume that this version is the latest. I verified it just before running the games. 0.2a. And definitely Crusade is not lucky with its lumber camp. At least it definitely needs to get the wood to build its feudal age building, to research castle age as soon as possible. It will need a blacksmith and a market. I think that it could switch the market for stable in some cases, if I'm right. At least we've got one defensive tower. And men-at-arms are looking for targets. Okay, we've got the blacksmith. Now the market or the stable are missing. Well, I was almost not watching, to be honest, because I didn't want to be spoiled. So yeah, I don't know what happened exactly, but what I can do is to share the recorded game with you, Arandi. That way you will be able to check what happened exactly. And as I said, unfortunately I can't switch the point of view, so I can't see my side if the animals were explored or not. Okay, we've got the market, so now Crusade can eventually research its castle age, and we've got this table. But clearly this early harassment worked quite well. But I think that Crusade didn't lose that many villagers at that point. It keeps saving its villagers to the TC or the tower. And yeah, this tower is really precious. I definitely would like to see those men at arms to attack this tower for true. Okay, let's increase the speed. Crusade is slowed down, but it managed to survive. At least there is a lot of idle villagers. Now what needs Arandi is to research castle and to start massing rams. Unfortunately, it doesn't manage to increase its military population. The men-at-arms tend to die too early just because of this tower. Okay, we've got monks. Arandi is eventually in castle age. The score stays pretty close. And Arandi, Sansu is investing in 2 archer ranges. Alright, I think that Crusade is safe. Arandi is eventually leading at the score. It keeps sending its units almost one by one. Alright, for the first time in that game, Crusade is gonna start an assault. Its army is quite decent, regarding the fact that Sun Tzu doesn't have that many units at that point. We've got at least a bunch of rams. I like this reaction from Sun Tzu, which goes for pikemen, which are gonna be pretty useful. That's monk plus knight. Looks to be a good combination at this point. Oh, we've got scorpions. Alright, I'm curious to know what is the condition for the rams to start to attack. Because it has lower military population than its opponents, so no military can support those rams. Maybe the rams are attracted by the scorpions? Yep. Okay. So Sun Tzu does have three barracks and 3 artillery ranges. A 4th barrack now. And the pikemen are full upgraded. Well, that's a lot of barracks at this point. Yeah, Crusade is now in a good position. It keeps pressing its opponents. Okay, so Arandi being in Imperial Age now needs a military population to be trained. I guess the harassment worked from Crusade. Alright, so it's definitely not expected. It looks like Crusade is winning this. Alright. So in case there was an issue with the boar hunting in the in the Dark Age, but it didn't prevent Sun Tzu to be aggressive in early feudal age. I think that the tower helped a lot Crusade to survive, and it managed to reach Castle Age after having been slowed down, but Sun Tzu never managed to have a decent military population, preventing it to keep pressing its opponents, and step by step Crusade could counter attack and then kept pressing its opponents. That was a good game. Let's go for the 4v4. Yeah, something to check, Arandi. What happened with the boars? Are you sure you use boar clays instead of um, another constant? That would explain what happened. If the boar isn't a boar, it needs to be set as boar.clays to be found. But I guess you already know this. So let's see what Sun Tzu can do this time, accompanied with Torisan, Nightmare and the King. Here we go. So at this point, as I said, both of the players are already qualified, but Crusade is already getting a small advantage with the 1v1 already won. From what you said, Arandi, you think that the 4v4 could be won by Crusade. You were wrong in the 1v1, so let's see if you this time you will be wrong again. So the flanks are Sun Tzu and the King, Torisan and Nightmare being fast castle AIs. This is a good point. So this time I can switch the point of views. Okay. And Crusade plays as Goss and Teutonic. Teutonic being its main sieve, which plays 1v1. And Goss is added for the 2v2, 3v3, 4v4. And I think that the strategy remains the same regardless the civilization selected between those two civilizations. And yes, definitely hardware affect DUC a lot. That's clear. Okay, let's increase the speed. This time, okay, green didn't. Okay, wait, it was blue anyway. Blue did lure the boar this time. And here we go. Oh, interesting. Blue was targeting red, I think, but the scout eventually found the orange player, which is a pretty good point. So Sun Tzu does have its revenge against Crusade. Crusade does have a decent lumber camp, which is actually not found, I think. Okay, it will be found right now by the scouts. I don't see any tower at this point. This villager will die, I think. No? Oh no, it survived. Oh, here we go for the tower. Unfortunately, okay. Come on! Oh, I think that this tower will be up soon now. I think that the distance with the TC. Yeah, okay, eventually. I think that if Crusade doesn't have that tower, it will be in a very bad shape. Alright, 2 villagers dead. This time Sun Tzu is doing a good job. The pressure is working. It did manage to have a decent amount of men at arms. Crusade can't build its tower. And there is a lack of stone wall at this point for a new tower. How is the king doing? It goes for a scout rush. Well, I was wrong when I said that Nightmare would go for a fast castle. At least it's focus on skirmishes before getting Castle Age. Alright, red and purple are now trying to help orange. And we've got a first assault from the king. But once again, the tower is doing the job. Yeah, definitely without TUC, going for a scout rush is kind of risky. Alright, Sun Tzu is now 1 versus 2. And maybe 1 versus 3 in case yellow comes. But I think that yellow is more focused on the other side of the map. Maybe the king will be in trouble soon now. Alright. A forward tower. 2 forward towers from orange and from red. And purple is switching its targets. It's now focusing grey. I don't know why. The distance is bigger than between purple and blue. But anyway. We've got only few scouts to defend. And of course we've got the TC. Well, I think that at this point blue is okay. It keeps pressing its opponent. Orange is really in a bad shape. And the defense worked. I'm not sure that those skirmishers will be a great help for blue. Other side it's turning quite hard for the king. So Torisan is going for eagles. The problem at this point is the amount of men-at-arms in the opposite team. Yeah, what is the condition, Arandi, to start training skirms? Let's go. Okay, so green is starting to harass its opponent. The target being purple, it's definitely a good point. Orange is already dead anyway. For some reasons, Torisan didn't upgrade its eagles to Eagle Warrior. Yeah, definitely the eagles are powerless here. The Rogue Crusader in Feudal Age, so is the king. The good point is Teal is actually not touched and it does have elite skirmishers, plus a bunch of knights. We are just waiting for a reaction from Teal, which needs to start to attack. Yeah, it's turning really bad for the king. While orange looks definitely dead. So it's gonna be pretty important Sun Tzu to switch the target for the next opponent, because purple looks to be a big problem for the other side. Let's see the population for Nightmare. Alright. Yeah, the king is dead. Yeah, 3 population for the king. How is Sun Tzu at this point? Oh, Sun Tzu is researching Imperial Age. It does have 72 villagers. Yeah, and it started trade which is a good point. I suppose, yeah, Teal does have a market, so I don't know why Arandi Sun Tzu is not focusing the market from Teal. Alright, Orange is dead. It's interesting to notice that Purple does have 49 villagers. Yeah, same for Yellow. It means that Crusade is limited to 50 villagers, rest being a military population. It's explained by the fact Crusade is pretty old, made in 2001. So this is a 22 years old AI. Alright, funny to see that all those units are just walking randomly after having killed their opponents. This is the piece before the next assault. Alright, maybe champion soon for Sun Tzu. Yep, champion is researched. Well, the king didn't resign, maybe because it does have one trade card, and that's all, I think. No, 2 trade cards. Okay, the next target being purple. Sun Tzu keep pressing its side. Still stays quite passive. But at least it knows how to defend. It does have the military population for this. And unfortunately, I think that Torisan definitely suffer from its unique strategy going eagles. It actually doesn't work against Crusade, which is going for infantry. So Sun Tzu did have a pretty important rule in this game. And the game is turning in a 3v2. Purple is out. Let's see the population. Yeah, 12 population. The king eventually resigned, despite its 2 trade cards which survived. Nice to see some help from Sun Tzu to defend green and teal. So let's see what the military population for green. At least we've got some pikemen. eagles, elite skirmishers, and that's it. From Til, which is Spanish, we've got conquistadors, elite skirmishers, mangonel, trebuchets, and mounted monks. And we've got paladins. Okay. There might be yeah, there is okay. The +2 attack which was missing is no more the case. And purple keep pressing yellow this time. Alright, I think that the 4v4 is gonna be won by the survivalists. Really great game, I would say, from Sun Tzu, which managed to kill 3 opponents. And fortunately Nightmare managed to defend quite well overall. It was in 1 versus 2 for a quite long time, his side, and Sun Tzu did the job other side. So it's a convincing victory. The score is 1-1. Yeah, definitely Til took its time. But when it starts its attack, it's no more a joke. Alright, so 1-1. So we've got a third game, which is going to be 2v2, and the winner will join the group with the general, while the loser will join Immortal. Here we go. So in the game before, Torisan was quite powerless with its strategy. So maybe it's not the ideal ally for Sun Tzu in this 2v2. So I think that in this 2v2, Crusade might be the favorite. Despite the fact that Sun Tzu is definitely able to take one opponent, but all will depend on Torisan and its eagles against those men-at-arms from Crusade. Crusade which can go for knights also, and for scorpions in addition. Here we go, the first assault, and once again the boars were lured to the TC, so And it was elephant this time, okay. So I don't know what happened in the 1v1. So red is gonna attempt a fast castle. It's maybe gonna have some troubles to get the wood for the market, for the blacksmith. Oh, it goes for stone. At least we can expect the defensive tower. Okay, we've got one defensive tower for yellow. And one defensive tower for red, but let's see what's gonna happen with this tower. Yeah, it's clearly delayed once again. It does have the stone to go for a second try. I think that this tower is in a pretty good position. It would protect wood and gold. Alright, no way. There won't be any tower. Yeah, and the problem for red is it doesn't have stone anymore for a third attempt. At least it goes for stone right now. And that's already a lot of men-at-arms. Crusade stays pretty defensive in early game. Yeah, that's definitely a good point to see the 4v4 being won. It shows that there is a decent synergy between the 4 players. And at least the king couldn't show anything, but it was anyway important because it was used as a target in the early game. It helped Nightmare and Torisan to be at least safe. And we've got a first attack from yellow. It will be interesting to see how they will deal with those men-at-arms. At least the men-at-arms will die against the TC. And at least the eagles are used to kill the range units. Well, the game is turning quite quite well for the survivalist. Red is now almost dead. Yellow has an impressive score. 46 villagers. And green is far below. It might have lost some villagers, I guess. At least it is in Castle Age. But it definitely might have lost some villagers anyway. Alright, red is dead. Yeah, the lack of escrow rules for Eagle Warriors prevent Torisan to upgrade its Eagles. 36 villagers for 39 population. Against 74 population for yellow. Well, all those villagers. Okay, I think that all those villagers were gonna attack the tower. At least the half of them are effectively attacking the tower. We might see some rams now. Yep. Soon, I guess. From Sun Tzu. Yeah, Torisan asks for help. And the game looks to turn in a 1 versus 1 soon, I guess. And I understand the use of those skirmishes around the TC. That definitely works pretty well against Crusade. Yellow is not too far from a researching castle. I think it would be time for blue to switch the target for the next opponent. Okay, we've got the rams which are coming. I assume that Sun Tzu will change its target only when its focused enemy is absolutely dead. Let's increase the speed. Bye bye the TC. Well, green is almost dead. And I think that the timing is just perfect. Blue is now cleaning the town. Alright. It looks like the towers are the priority for the Rams over the PC. Alright, congratulations, Sun Tzu. And eventually green is surviving. He is in survivalist team anyway, so it makes sense. And Sun Tzu might be in, yeah, it's full population, 210 population. Okay, now Sun Tzu is just looking for something to eat. Well, game is over anyway. Congratulations, the survivalist. A clear domination in the economy, military also. Yeah, Torisan was very close to die at some point. And Crusade almost reached Castle Age when Sun Tzu reached Imperial Age. So the domination was impressive for Sun Tzu in this 2v2.